Okay, guys, good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning, and this week right here has just been a terribly wet week, man. It's one of the wettest weeks that we've had in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. I was very fortunate yesterday to get that work in yesterday, Of course, now I'm still waiting on the freight to come with the with the Harley rake. They're saying today, their website is saying tomorrow. They're not really telling me a time. Just not cool, man. Not cool,
Yeah.
So that was a good little lick yesterday. Y'all got to admit, man, that was a nice little lick right here yesterday. I got lucky then. But today I'm not really, I'm back at doing nothing. So a couple things. So the new guy, he called me and, last night, and he's got a job, a big job that he wants me to help him bid on. So, and I'm not doing anything else today, and I'm not going to charge him or nothing. We're going to ride. It's probably about 20 minutes away. The only thing holding me up is, this package of this Harley rake delivery. But I'm going to roll the dice and take a chance, and I'm going to meet him out there at this job about an hour and 10 minutes or so. So, I'm going to try to show him how I bid and try to show him what I would bid for this work or that work, and kind of just, and not that the way I do things is the best way, but they, it'll be more knowledge than what he has right now, because the way you guys do things and the way I do things and the way he does things is going to be a little bit different. And no, that's not a knock on anybody. Some people have to generate more money than others. I mean, that's a fact. It's hard to look at your business model and say, okay, well, I wouldn't do this for that much money, or this for that little bit of money or whatever. But if you're not looking on the other end on what it costs you, then, you're not really getting a true gauge of where you're at. See, I know what it costs me on the other end, and I know on the other end, I save boatloads of money all the time. And, if you've been in business for a while, you're probably discovering that. It took me a while to discover, well, not to discover, but not to be so focused on what I'm making. Though, you got to be focused somewhat. I mean, you got to be focused pretty hardcore on what you are making, but you even got to put as much emphasis on what you're not having to pay for too, or what you're not having to, So I'm always, I guess I was in business probably. Well, I always tried to fix stuff. Now, I didn't always have the wherewithal or the tools or the know-how to fix stuff. And I didn't always, I've always been kind of handy, I would never take my lawnmower to the shop for an oil change. I wouldn't. Or for a hydraulic change, I'm going to always do that kind of thing, on my own. But when I get into some of the more complex fixes, especially with the skid steer and all, you can save a lot of money really quick. So, yeah, I don't focus solely on what I make. Now, a lot of people might not have been able to go out there and do that job I did yesterday and go in thinking $300. They would have never got up and loaded the skid steer for that. I get it, but I can, because my skid steer is paid for, and it doesn't cost me that much to run it anymore. Now, it used to cost me a little bit more to run it than it does now. because I was trying to pay for it and everything. But once you get a piece of equipment paid for, then the whole dynamics of what you make with it changes, if you ask me. Now, I don't know what the professional profit people say, but for me, it changes. Once the money for the skid steer is back in the bank, then my costs go way down to run it, until something breaks. And then that's always a factor. But see, I don't spend my money any different than, I don't spend my money any different when I make money or when I don't make money. I spend it the same. My thinking is the same. I don't spend any more money because I made a lot of money today or yesterday or whatever. And I don't spend any less money or any more money than if I don't make any money. It's all the same. I'm kind of even keel when it comes to my spending habits. Now, there are going to be spikes in that because you got things you got to pay for and stuff like that. The little things irritate me, For instance, the freaking internet here at my house, since they had a storm the other night, I haven't had internet going on 48 hours. And I've been using my phone as a hotspot for my home internet. And now Verizon is telling me that I need to up my my plan because I'm using all the data up. So that's going to cost me. Now, it's peanuts, compared to what I can make out here. It's not a big deal, but it's just irritating to me, that I'm paying for internet and I don't have internet right now. And they can't tell me a time or about time or a day or anything when it's going to be back up and running. There's an outage in our area. So this is going to, I had to figure out how to use my phone as a mobile hotspot. And that's pretty cool. I got to say, it works great. As long as your computer can pick up, the signal. Now you got to have a wireless computer or Wi-Fi. See, my computer, and like I told you guys the other day, my computer is one of the best computers on the market. I don't know the name of it. It's a Dell, and it's a pretty sophisticated computer. It has everything, Bluetooth and everything, touch screen, you name it. But so I'm having to deal with all that, and then I'm having to deal with trying to get information and trying to figure out, what's up with the internet. So this is the situation. Let me just explain the situation to you. So the situation is this. So a lady, and this is all coming from my new guy, a lady that lives up in Blue Ridge has some property down here. A house, a rental, or something. I don't know. I'll find out all that when I, later today. Well, here in the next hour and a half or so. And so I don't know how she got in touch with Christian or whatever, but somehow she got in touch with Christian, and it's a little bit outside of his comfort zone. Well, and I don't blame him. I'm weary too until I, and if I was corresponding with her myself, then I would be in a better place mentally. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not, and I don't know, I'll have to just talk to him more about it when I see him over there. Because I'm weary about that because, I don't want him to do the work and then not be able to get paid. And that's all a part of the training process. You don't want to do any work and not get paid for it, and up and beyond, bidding the job and seeing the scope of everything and coming up with a number to do whatever work she wants. That's what most people think of when they're showing somebody how to bid and stuff. But in this unique situation, since the owner's not going to be there and the owner lives, 80 miles away, I have to advise him on what I'm going to be advising him on, to be wary about, you know, how you're going to get paid and, you know, all that, because that's a big deal. And if I suspect that there's a possibility that he won't get paid, I'm going to tell him. Well, I'm going to tell him that anyway, you know, so you have to be wary. And it might be somebody that he knows through somebody that he knows. But he told me the other day that she was supposed to meet him down here, and then she never came down here. So that's a small red flag, you know, not a big one, but a small one. And if after I talk to him today, and maybe I'll get a little video of me and him chatting in the truck, after I talk to him today and meet him over there, then I can kind of get more information about how he got in touch with her or she got in touch with him. So, you know, a lot more to it than just bidding the number, especially to somebody green and trying to learn. You got to learn what kind of people to deal with too. And I'm not saying that she's not going to pay, or that she's, you know, out, you know, I'm not going to say that because I don't know, but I'm going to tell him that you got to be wary of that, you know, anyway. And, you know, you can't get too wrapped up in, some of these things, you know, like I'm going to find out her name, and then when she's telling him that she owns the property, I'm going to go into the tax, you know, the county tax website, and I'm going to make sure that she owns the property. We're going to make sure that she's not lying about anything, because if she's lying about things, then I'm going to tell him I wouldn't do the work. I don't care how lucrative it sounds, you know. And then he'll be up to him to you know, to do the work or not, or to, you know, to move forward in the relationship. Sometimes it might work out for you, and sometimes it might not. But in the beginning, I can't afford for nothing not to work out for me if I can avoid it. So, yeah, a lot more to it than what you might think, you know, out here in the game and trying to learn to bid and everything. And so, yeah. So, there's another thing that I want to talk about too, and man, y'all not gonna believe this, man. So, you know, I told you guys after I got about the man lift the other day and the financing and all that on the man lift. Boy, I ain't got into a pickle, but it's a little bit of trickery going on that I did not realize, and I just want to tell you guys about it. So if you guys get ready to finance some equipment or whatever, then you're aware of this and you can maybe not go for what I went for. So I called the loan company that loaned me the money for the man lift. And the way, and I signed it, so that's what I'm saying. You got to be wary. The way they are, I'm saying, okay, I want to know what the payoff is on, you know, the $7,000 that I borrowed. Well, that's what I wanted to borrow. So let's go back. Let's step back a little bit. So I borrowed $10,000 because $10,000 was the least amount that you could borrow. They wouldn't let me do $7,000. So I put $7,000 down and borrowed $10,000. Okay, that's the way and I thought I only borrowed $7,000, man. See, I get confused because, well, there's a lot of things going on here. So, and I just been making a payment, man, because it's, you know, it's just, anyway, I made a mistake on telling you guys the other day that I only borrowed $7,000. My intention going into the game, into the deal with them, was to borrow $7,000. Well, when I did the paperwork and all, the least amount that they would let me borrow was $10,000. So I just had to switch it up. Okay, I won't borrow. I can't borrow $7,000, so I'm gonna have to borrow $10,000. Okay, so I did that, and they're so tricky, y'all, and they're not. They just, it's all. I don't want to say it's predatory, but it almost is. So what they did, and they're slick, man, and I didn't even, you know, I was so giddy on getting a piece of equipment, I didn't even think about this part. So what they did is they paid the Titan equipment, you know, the place I bought the lift from. They paid them the whole $17,000, okay, and some change. You know, we'll say $17,000, but it's a little bit more than that. And then my first payment was $7,000 and the change, so there was only 10 left on paper. That they tricked me, because the interest I'm paying is on 17,000, you know. And the way they're coming at me now is they're saying, well, we didn't loan you money. I can't remember how she worded it. We didn't loan you money. You agreed to, you know, 36 payments of $250 or whatever that is, you know, something like that. And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I borrowed $10,000, and well, no, you that's what they're saying. No, you didn't. You agreed to make 36 payments of blah blah dollars. See, that's a trick. That's tricky, y'all. So, and I don't know that I could have avoided that, but it would have been nice to know. But it was explained in the paperwork, you know, because when you're doing the paperwork on this stuff and everything, I'm thinking, well, it's just a $10,000 loan at the time, you know. That's what I'm thinking. And sorry about that, y'all. So I'm not sure. Well, that's just what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, I'm borrowing $10,000 and the payment's going to be this. And so when I did the math on the payments, and they're going to make interest, I get that. They're supposed to. The $10,000 loan, when you did it by the book, by the math that I signed for, I signed for it, you know, I initialed everything. So, you know, it's just no excuse, you know. And at the end of the day, it's okay, because I'm still, you know, it's not any more money than what I would have thought they would have made on a $10,000 loan anyway. So I borrowed 36 payments of, I don't know, $300 a month, let's say. And so on $10,000, at the end of the day, if I make the 36 payments, it comes out to be $11,000 and some change. So they made, you know, $1,200 or so on this alone. Hey, I get it, man. That's manageable, right? That's manageable. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. The thing is, what they don't tell you is they're not going to let you pay it off early. They're not going to let you, well, you can pay it off early, but what they're going to do is they just going to add the payments up, and that's what you got to pay. So after 9 months of paying whatever, and it's my fault for not knowing all these things, because I just was making good money with it, and still making good money with it, and gonna make good money with it. And I just said, okay, the payment's gonna be $300 a month. And I just said, okay. And I've made a lot more than $300 a month with it. So right now, as of yesterday, the payoff on that man lift is like $9,300. And I talked to the girl, and I just feel a certain type of way about it. Yeah, there's no benefit to paying it off early. other than my own, get it off my books and get the debt satisfied, you know. So that's a problem for me, you know. I thought that if you paid it off early, that just like anything else I've ever borrowed money on, when you pay it off early, you save yourself some interest. Not in this case. So I got so upset yesterday about it. I mean, that I was like on the verge of just paying the $9,400 and being done with it. I mean, and that would have been going on my emotion at the time. After sleeping on it and everything, I'm not going to do that. If I'm not going to save any money by paying it off early, then I'm probably not going to pay it off early. And I mean, I may pay it off early, but it won't be substantial. You know, I'll have to get it down to $4 or $5 grand, and then I might, you know, reach out and take care of it real quick after I get it down to that. But I'm not fixing to let go of $9,400 and it not save me a dime. I mean, they're not cutting me no break because the interest is figured into the payment. And I gotta make so many payments. So just something to watch out for, y'all, when you get you know, into some of the unique equipment and stuff. Keep in mind, man, that that's not nothing that I'm not mad about them making the, you know, $1,500, $1,200, whatever they're making on my $10,000 loan. I'm not mad about that. I mean, hell, I was thinking they'd probably make more than that. But what I'm upset about is at myself for signing up for 36 payments of blah blah dollars, you know, $300 or whatever, and then they added, you know, $70 a month insurance onto it. So, and then what really got me was it looks like on paper that I borrowed $17,000 and I did not. I borrowed 10. So yeah, just a little wording trickery, and just be careful. With this amount of money, it's not a big deal, you know, but I imagine that if they loan money, you know, $30 or $40 or $60,000 out, and you signed this kind of arrangement, well, that could really hurt you. So just be aware. Just be aware. You just about come out better, not better, and not cheaper, but less interest in everything and less game playing is if you just go from the dealer. Like if I buy a Bobcat, another skid steer, I'm not going to borrow money from these people. I mean, from this bank and this Pacific Leasing, Financial. I mean, if I did borrow money from them again, I'm gonna make sure that I don't fall into the number of payments I got to make. I'm falling into the amount of money. See, the girl on the phone kept saying, well, no, you agreed to this many payments. You didn't agree to pay back $10,000 plus interest. You agreed to pay back, 36 payments. Boy, it's tricky, man. Y'all gotta admit that shit's tricky, dog. That's tricky as hell, man. So, but anyway, I just kind of want to throw that out there to you guys this morning, and I'll edit some of this stuff as it's kind of long-winded and everything. And man, y'all gotta admit, man, that's some tricky crap right there, dude, that they pulled on me on that. And you cannot be mad at them. It's my job, your job, to make sure that we don't fall into some kind of financial trap that we don't know about. Though this is not enough money to trap me. If you're starting out, it's a little bit tricky because they're not allowing me to save any money. And my thinking was, when I borrowed the money, you know, that I will be able to pay it off early like I do everything else. There's not nothing that I own or I have paid for that I let go all the way out till the end of the loan and pay it. You know, I always pay everything off early, not because I'm a great guy, but because I want to get more equipment. And usually that kind of thing is holding me up. So I want to go on and spend whatever I need to spend to close that loan out so I can focus on maybe getting another piece of equipment. So like I was telling you guys the other day. Anyway, I'm gonna unload the skid steer and get it ready for the trucking company. So when I get back, I don't have to do all this. I'm gonna unhook this trailer, and I'm gonna head over here and meet with Christian at that job, man. So we'll get a little more video. Peace out.